So, starting with another problem in the coding series. Welcome, guys. And our problem is called burst balloons. It's a hard level problem, but it's liked by so many people and it's quite interesting, in fact. So, let's start. Given n balloons indexed from 0 to n minus 1, each balloon is painted with a number on it represented by array nums. You are asked to burst all the balloons. If you burst balloon I, you will get nums of left into nums of I into nums of right coins. Okay. Hence, left and right are adjacent indices of I. Okay, after the burst, the left and right then becomes adjacent. Find the maximum coins you can collect by bursting the balloons wisely. Okay, so if nums of minus 1 or nums of n is obtained, we have to take it as 1. They are not real, therefore you cannot burst them. And n ranges from 0 to 500 and nums of I ranges from 0 to 100. So let's take an example. So if the array is 3, 1, 5, 8, then to get the maximum value of coins, what we have to do is we have to find how we can get the maximum value of coins. So they have given the answer for this. So in this, what they're doing is they're busting 1 first. So if we are busting 1, then the number of coins that we get will be 3 into 1 into 5, right? Adjacent elements we have to multiply with the element that is there now. So 3 into 1 into 5. Okay, so we have busted 1 and we have got 15 coins. Now 3, 5 and 8 are only the elements that are remaining in the array. Now in this case, we have to burst 5 to get the maximum value of coins. So if we are bursting 5, we are going to get 3 into 5 into 8 coins. That is 8 into 5 into 3 will be 40 into 3 will be 120. So we are going to get 120 coins. Now 3 and 8 are remaining. Then we will have to burst 3. So I get 24 coins, which is 1 into 3 into 8. And then only 8 is remaining. So I get 1 into 8 into 1, that is 8 coins. So if I add all these, I get 167 coins. So basically, in this we didn't know the order of bursting, right? They have given us the answer, but basically we have to also find the order. It could have been simply any other order, like we could have busted 8 first, then 1, then 3 and 5. We could have done this, but then we will not get the maximum value of coins. It will be something lesser than 167. So the correct order will be what they have given. So we will have to burst 1 first, and then we'll have to burst 5, then 3, then 1. So this is the correct order. So basically, let's try to find the logic of the code and then let's move on to coding this. So let's start with the logic of the code. So let's just take some random elements, let's say 2, 4, 3 and 5 that are a part of our array. Okay. Now we have to burst the balloons one by one, right? So let's start with, let's say if I burst this balloon last. Okay, if I burst this balloon last, so I'm going to declare a variable length and I'm going to declare it to 1 first. So I'm going to initialize it to 1. Okay, so length is my variable that tells me how many elements are going to be there in the subarray. Okay, so for example, here my subarray has only one element. Okay, so if I burst the balloon 2 at last, then what will be my value of coins? See, starting and end are 1 only. So my value of coins will be 1 into 2 into 4. That will be 8. Okay. So let me do one thing. Let me store this in a matrix so that it becomes easy. Okay. So I am bursting the balloon which is at index 0. Okay. So I am going to store in place of 0, 0 in that matrix. Let me just draw it properly. So I'm going to store the value of 8. So this will make it easy for me to take this value again whenever I need it. Okay. So this is my matrix, and in place of 0, 0, I am going to store 8 because while busting this, I'll get 8 coins. Okay. Now I am going to move on to my next element. So in case I am busting 4, okay, in case I am busting 4 in the end, then in that case, the value that value of coins that I will get will be 2 into 4 into 3, right? So it will be 24. So I'll write 24 in place of 1, 1 because only one element is there and this is at index 1. Okay, now I'll move on to my next element. In case I burst the balloon 3, then 4 into 3 into 5, right? I will get this value. So 4 into 3 is 12, 12 into 5 is 60. So I will store 60 in my DP table. Now I will move forward. Suppose I burst 5 at last. Okay, I'll write it in the same color not to confuse. Okay, suppose I burst 5 at last. In that case, the value of coins that I get will be 3 into 5 into 1, which is 15. Okay, so I have got this values. Now, this is for single element. If I had busted only this, now I will change my length. I will change my length to 2. Okay, so now I will be able to make subarrays consisting of two elements. If there were two elements, think if there were 2 and 4. Okay, then in this cases, two cases will arise. One case will be when I burst 2 at last, one case will be when I burst 4 at last. So let me consider when I burst 2 at last, then what will happen? If I burst 2 at last, while bursting 2, the value of coins that I will get will be 1 into 2 into 3, that will be 6. Okay, plus, see, if I burst 2 at last, then I would have already busted 4. So while busting 4, the value of coins that I get should be added here. So that we can see from this table. See, 4 is at index 1, right? So from the DP table of 1, 1, I have stored 24 in that. So 24 should be added. So 30 should be stored here. Okay. So in the 0, 1 matrix, I will store 30. Why I am taking this to be 0, 1? Because it is starting, the subarray is starting at index 0 and it is ending at index 1. So in the 0, 1 index, I have stored 30. Okay. Now let me move on to next case in which I burst 4 at last. If I burst the balloon of 4 at last, then 1 into 4 into 3, 12, right? 12 coins will be got from bursting 4 at last. 1 into 4 into 3. Plus, I would have busted 2 already. So if I burst 2, the value of coins that I'm going to get, we can see from this DP table of 0, 0, that is 8. So I'm going to get 20 coins. So now see, 30 is already stored in the table. We'll compare the value 20. 20 is less than 30, right? So we need not change the 30 value. 30 will remain in the table. Okay. So because we have to find the max number of coins that we can get. So since 30 is greater, 30 will be stored in the table. Now let's move to the next subarray. So 4, 3 is the next subarray. My first index has become 1 now. Second index has become 2. Right? So I can even give variables for this I and j. Okay, now moving forward, there are again two cases. One case will be when I burst 4 at last. Other case will be when I burst 3 at last. Okay. So if I burst 4 at last, the value of coins that I get will be 2 into 4 into 5. That will be 8 into 5. That will be 40. Plus I would have already busted 3. So for busting 3, the value of coins that I get will be that. See, 3 is at index 2. So 2, 2 is 60, right? So 40 plus 60 is 100. So I will store 100 in the table of 1, 2 because this is starting at index 1 and ending at index 2. Okay, now in the case when I burst 3 at last, in that case 2 into 3 into 5, 6 into 5, 30. 30 coins I will get when I burst 3 at last and I would have already busted 4. So 4 is at index 1. So in the DP table of 1, 1, I see 24 is stored. So 54 will be the value of coins that I get. Now see, 100 is already stored here and 100 is greater than 54. So I'll let the value remain as 100. Okay, now let's move forward to the next subarray that I can get. So in the next subarray that I get, I will get 3 and 5. Now there are two cases again. One case when 3 will be burst at last. One case when 5 will be burst at last. So in case I am bursting 3 at last, the value of coins that I get will be 4 into 3 into 1. So 12. Plus I am bursting 5 before. So 5 is at index 3. So 3, 3 has the value 15 in the table. So 27 will be the total value and I will store 27 in this table. Okay. Now when I am busting 5 at last, in that case 4 into 5 into 1, 20 coins will be got by busting 5 and 3 would have already been busted. So 3 is at index 2. So at 2, 2 from the table I get 20 plus 60, I get 80. Right. So in this case, I can see that 80 is greater than 27. So I should change this 27 value and I should make it 80 in the table. Okay. So I have filled these elements. Now let's move forward. All the subarrays of length 2 are been exhausted. Okay, they have been exhausted. So I'm going to change my length to 3. Now I'm going to take the subarrays of length 3. Suppose I take the subarray of this length 3 where I starts from the index 0 and j is at index 2, right? In this case, that is the starting and the ending index. So I have 3 cases, one in which I can burst 1 at last, other in which I can burn 2 at last and other in which I can burst 4 at last. So if I burst 1 at last, okay, the value of elements that, okay, I have considered the element 1 to be an element, but it is not, so please forgive me for this. The array is just 2 4 3 5, and 1 are just the padded element. So 2 4 3 will be the first subarray. Okay, so 2 4 3 is the first subarray, and I will get 3 cases: one in which I burst 2 at last, one in which I burst 4 balloon at last, and 3 balloon at last. So in the first case, when I burst the balloon 2 at last, then in that case the value of coins that I am going to get will be 1 into 2 into 5, so it will be 10. Okay, plus the value of coins I would have got by already busting 4 comma 3. So by already busting 4 comma 3, what will be the value of coins that I get, that I can see from the table? See, 4 is starting at index 1, and it's 3 is ending at index 2, right? So in the table of 1 comma 2, already 100 is stored, right? 100 is stored, so I can see that. So this will become 110. So I will store 110 in this place of index 0 to 2, because my subarray starts from index 0 and ends at index 2. Okay, now I move forward to the next case. In the case when I burst the balloon 4. Okay, when I burst the balloon 4, I'll just zoom this a bit. Okay, so when I burst the balloon 4, what happens is I'm going to get the value of coins that will be, let me write this out clearly. Yeah, so when I burst 4 at last, and this is my subarray, that means I'm going to get the value of coins 1 into 4 into 5, that will be 20, right? And already I'm going to get the value of coins that had busted while I had busted 2 and 3. So for busting 2, I can see that from the 0 comma 0 table I get 8 coins, and for busting 3 I can see from the 2 comma 2 value that I get 60 coins. So the total number of coins that I get will be 88. But see, 110 is already stored. So 110 is anyway greater than 88. So we can just move forward. Okay, now I move to the next case when the subarray is 2, 4, 3, but I burst 3. If I burst the balloon 3, then in that case, the value of coins that I get will be 1 into 3 into 5, 15, plus the value of coins I would have got by already busting this 2 and 4. So this I can see from the DP table starting at index 0, ending at index 1. So from the DP table of 0 comma 1, I see that its value is 30. So 15 plus 30 is 45. That is less than 110, which is stored in the table. So I can just move forward. I need not change the value. Now my subarray, my first subarray of elements 3 is exhausted. So I move to the next subarray of 3 elements. So I again have 3 cases. One case when I burst 4 at last, one case when I burst 3 at last, and the other case when I burst 5 at last. So in case I burst 4 at last, the value of coins that I get will be 2 into 4 into 1, right? So 8 coins, plus the value of coins I get by already busting 3 and 5. So I can see from the DP table starting at index 2 and ending at index 3. So already the value of 80 is stored. So 8 plus 80 plus 8 is 88. So I will just store 88 here. So I will store 88 basically here in the array of starting from index 1 and ending at index 3. So 88 will be stored here. Okay, and I move forward. Now in the case when I burst 3, okay, in this case when I burst 3 at last, then the value of coins that I get will be 2 into 3 into 1. So 6, plus the value of coins that I get while I would have already busted 4 and I would have already busted 5. So when I'm already busting 4, the value of coins that I get will be from the table 1 comma 1, because 4 is at index 1, right? So 24 will be added. Then 5 is at index 3. So 3 comma 3, that is 15 from the table. So 6 plus 24 is 30. 30 plus 15 is 45. Now 45 is lesser than 88. So I need not change the value. I can just move forward to the next iteration. Now in this iteration, I am busting 5 at last. So I am busting 5 at last. So I would have already busted 4 and 3. So I am busting 5 at last. That means I have already busted 4 and 3. So the value I get while busting 5 at last will be 2 into 5 into 1. That will be 10. And I would have already busted 4 and 3 starting at index 1 and ending at index 2. So from the DP table, I can get that it is 100. I get 100 coins. So the number of coins is 110. So I'm going to store 110 in the place of this 88. So let me store 110 and move forward. Okay, now I just have the last subarray left, and that subarray will consist of all the elements, right? So now my length will change. So I've exhausted the subarray of 3 elements. I just had 2 subarrays. Now I have one subarray which is of length 4, and that has all the elements. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to consider all the cases again, like always. So I have 4 cases. One case when I burst 2 at last, 4 at last, 3 at last, or 5 at last. So let's go to all the cases one by one. So if I burst 2 at last, the value of coins that I get will be 1 into 2 into 1. So that will be 2. Plus I get the value of coins by already bursting 4, 3 and 5. So this starts as index 1 and ends at index 2. So the value of coins that I get will be got from the table of this starts as index 1 and ends at index 3. So from the table of 1 comma 3, I can see that the value is 110. So 110 plus 2 is 112. So I will store 112 in the 0 comma 3 sub array. Okay, now I move forward to the case when I burst 4 at last. Okay, when I am bursting 4 at last, and this is my subarray, then the value of coins I get by bursting 4 at last will be 1 into 4 into 1, which will be 4. Plus, notice here, now I am bursting 4 at last. So I would have already bursted 2 and 3 and 5. So while bursting 2, the value of coins that I get will be got from the index of 0 comma 0. So 0 comma 0 has value 8 stored in the table, and 3 and 5. So bursting 3 and 5 would have given me the value that will be stored at the DP table of 2 and 3. So 2 comma 3, 60 is stored there. So 60 plus 8 is 68. 68 plus 4 is 72. Now see, 72 is less than 112, which is already stored here. So this case is useless. So let's move forward to the next case. So in the next case, consider I am bursting 3 at last. Okay, so I'll just try to erase this so that no confusion remains. So I'm going to burst 3 at last. Okay, so if I'm bursting 3 at last, then the value of coins that I get will be 1 into 3 into 1. That will be 3. Plus I would have already bursted 2, 4 and 5. So while bursting 2 and 4, the value of coins that I would have got can be got from the DP table, starting from the index 0, ending at the index 1. So 0 comma 1 has the value 30. And then while bursting 5, I would have got the value of coins that I can get from the DP table of 3 comma 3. So that is 15. So again, I see 30 plus 15 plus 3 is 48, which is lesser than 112 that is already stored. So I will move forward. So now I move forward. Now I'm bursting 5. So this is the last case when I'm bursting 5 at last. So when I'm bursting 5 at last, the value of coins that I get will be 1 into 5 into 1. That will be 5. Plus I would have already bursted 2, 4, 3. So the value of coins that I get, I have already calculated from the DP table. So this starts as index 0 and this ends at index 2. So from 0 comma 2, 110. So 115. So 115 is greater than 112. So I can change this value and I can make this value to be 115. So basically this is my answer that I have to return. I have got my maximum number of coins. This is the answer I have to return, that is starting from the index 0, ending at the index of array size minus 1. So this is the value of coins that I have to return, and let's move forward to coding this. So let's start coding this. So let me declare the first DP matrix that we will have to store the values in. Okay, so vector int, and I'm just going to call it DP for short for dynamic programming. You can call it anything. And now I will have to give the size of it. So suppose if my array has 4 elements, then 4 by 4 matrix should be declared. So the first parameter that I'm giving is same as nums dot size, and next parameter that I will have to give will be vector int, and I'm again going to give nums dot size because, for example, it's going to be a 4 by 4 matrix, and I'm going to give all the values 0 initially. And before this, I'll also give a condition. If nums dot size is less than 1, then please just return 0. There's no need to iterate over. Okay, so let's move forward. Now we'll have to declare the topmost for loop. So the subarray size is going to range from 1 to 4 when nums has 4 elements. Then first I'll make a subarray of size 1, then I'll make a subarray of size 2, 3, 4, right? So length is the size of subarray. So this is my outermost for loop. So int length is equal to 1, length is less than equal to nums dot size, and length plus plus. So this is my outermost for loop that I will have to start with. Okay, now I'll have to give another for loop where I will have to start with the indices of the subarrays, right? So the leftmost index of the subarray, I'm calling it I. So int I, it will range from 0 and it will range till nums dot size minus length of the subarray. So let me just give it nums dot size minus length of the subarray, and I'm going to do I plus plus. Okay, so if you have doubts regarding this, I mean, just okay, let's just take an example in case there are any issues understanding this. So suppose 3, 1, 5, 8 are my elements. Okay, so suppose I'm making subarrays of size 2. Okay, if my length is 2, then my first subarray will be 3, 1. Okay, next subarray will be 1, 5, and my next subarray will be 5, 8. Okay, so my I is going to range from, let's see where it's going to range from. So in the case of 3, 1, I is the first index, right? I is going to range from 0. Now when 1, 5 is my subarray, I has become 1. Okay, the index has become 1. In the case of 5, 8, the leftmost index has become 2, right? 5 is the starting element. So my I is going to range from nums dot size minus the length of the subarray, right? So this is logical. And now I'm going to give brackets for this for loop. Now I will have to give the rightmost index. So rightmost index, I'll call it j, right? So for example, in this case 3158, when the subarray size is 2, then j will range from see, j will be what? It will be I plus length minus 1, right? So I plus length minus 1. See, consider this example when 5, 8 is my subarray. My I is equal to 2, right? The index of the first element is 2. The index of the last element is j. So j is nothing but the index of the first element plus the length of elements that are there in the subarray minus 1, right? Isn't it logically so? J will be I plus length minus 1. So in the case of 5, 8, j will become 3. The index will become 3, right? 8 is at index 3, and that is a rightmost element. Okay, moving forward. So this will be my second for loop. Now I'll have to write my 3 for loop. This is a O n cube solution. So my third for loop will be when which bubble I am bursting last. The index of that bubble is called k. Okay, so suppose consider 3, 1, 5, 8 is my array. I am bursting the bubble 5. Then my k will be 2. Index of that will be 2, right? So k will be which bubble I am going to, which balloon I am going to burst in the last. Okay, so k will range from I to j, right? K will range from I to j depending on which subarray I have taken. So these are my 3 for loops, and that's it. Now it's going to be simple. So let's declare left value and right value. Okay, so left value and right value I'm going to give as 1. So these are just the values. So in case that I has become 0, okay, if I has become 0, then left value will be 1, right? There is nothing to the left of it, so I will have to take 1. And similarly, when j has become nums dot size minus 1, okay, j has become the last element, then right value will again be 1, right? That's given in the question that we have to consider it as 1. Okay, so if I is not equal to 0, then in that case my left value will just be the left element to what I am bursting right now. So it will just be nums of I minus 1. And if my j is not equal to nums dot size minus 1, similarly in this case my right value will just become nums of j plus 1. Okay, so let's move forward. Now I'm going to declare before and after. Okay, so int before is 0, int after is 0. So these are the values that I'm going to take from the DP array. Okay, so for example, if I'm bursting the balloon, see, suppose my subarray is, consider my subarray is 358 itself. Okay, if I'm bursting 5, then I will have to take the values of bursting 3 and bursting 8 before itself from the DP table. So I'll have to declare before and after. Okay, so I'm declaring before and after. And if I is not equal to k, okay, if I is equal to k, my before will just be 0. Okay, but if I is not equal to k, then my before is going to be the value that I'm going to take from the DP table. So DP of I will have to write I, and it will be till k minus 1, right? Similarly, if j is not equal to k, then in that case my after value will be dp of k plus 1 till j, right? So this will be it. And I will have to just give the last most important statement, which is the initialization statement. So dp of I comma j. So I'm going to store the value, right? So I'm going to store the value of max, which I'm going to obtain now, compared with the already stored value. Okay, so already 0 is stored initially, but as we move in the subarrays, values will get stored. Okay, now I'll have to compare this with the value that I'm getting now. So the value that I'm getting now will just be left value into nums of k. So I'm bursting the balloon. So these are the value of coins that I'm going to get into right value. Okay, plus before and after. So I'll have to get that values also. So whichever is max among this versus the already stored value, that will get stored again. Okay, so this should be it. That's it. And after all the three for loops are closed, I will have to return dp of 0 and nums dot size minus 1. So this should work hopefully. Let's check if it's working or if there are any errors. So there is error. Did you mean right value? Okay, I would have misspelled right value, I think. Yes, so I have written the spelling of value wrong. So let's wait and check. Does not return a value. So why it is not returning a value? I think there is some issue with the function. So function is ending here. Okay, so the three brackets that I have given, okay, so I have actually given 4 opening brackets, but I have given only 3 closing brackets. So this is the mistake. This bracket is not required. So let me try to run it now. Okay, so there is still an error. They are expecting a semicolon. Okay, so let's check. So this bracket is closing this for loop. Next bracket is closing this for loop, and the next bracket is closing this for loop. Very good. So now this should return, and this bracket is closing my function. So this bracket is not needed. Yes, so it's working right now. Let's submit and see. Yes, I think it's working and it is successful. So thank you for bearing with me.